Howdy y'all, I'm Brylan. So the government shut down, hip hip hooray. I mean, it wouldn't be such a bad thing if it actually affected the politicians. But all we're seeing right now is that hundreds of thousands of federal workers are being furloughed, meaning they will not get paid until the shutdown ends. However, essential government employees have to continue working just without pay. Now, I am all for downsizing the government, getting rid of as many people that collect our tax dollars to do nothing, or even worse, to just destroy America from within. The government's bloated, it's way too big, but don't worry, because the Congressional Budget Office estimates that this is going to cost about $400 million a day. Good thing we're not in any debt or anything. But in this video, I'm going to show you the 5 biggest consequences to this government shutdown, and they are out of this world insane. Hey, if you get value from this video, would you consider hitting that thumbs up button? You know when you like this video to get pushed out to more people, and it would really help spread the truth. Now, who remembers during the Biden administration when all these shutdown talks would happen, they would try to pass these budget bills, and the Democrats would scream their heads off. They would go nuts, even more nuts than they already are. The Republicans are trying to shut down the government and it'll be the end of the world. Well, the Democrats just shut down the government. Now, this whole thing started because under the Biden administration, we would pay all of the hospital benefits for illegal aliens if they went to an American hospital. So we turned that program off in President Trump's one big beautiful bill. The Democrats want it turned back on, and that would cost, again, hundreds of billions of dollars.
It's a matter of fact that there are 2 programs that total hundreds of billions of dollars, taxpayer-funded healthcare benefits for illegal aliens. The Trump administration turned it off. Democrats want to turn it back on. And it's not just that we have a policy disagreement here. As crazy as that one is, it's not just they want to turn those benefits for illegal aliens back on. It's that they're willing to say that our troops aren't going to get paid until Donald Trump relents and turns those benefits for illegal aliens back on. It's preposterous. It's bad policy. But we also are not going to negotiate with hostages here, which is why the government is shut down right now, because the Democrats have taken it hostage.
Look how the mainstream media is reacting to this government shutdown. You know, this is why I use Ground News, because they show you how the left and the right are spinning the news. Now, the left is saying all kinds of insane stuff about it, but one thing that they hate is that Trump is demanding the GOP clear out dead wood from the federal government during shutdown opportunity. I think that'd be a great idea. And the right is saying that Trump calls the shutdown an unprecedented opportunity and eyes deep cuts. Again, yeah. You know, with Ground News, you can stop guessing if the mainstream media is telling you the truth or not because they show you exactly who's being biased. Their blind spot feature shows you when the left or the right isn't covering the news that you should know about. You can also see who owns each news outlet. If you go to ground.news/Brylan or scan the QR code on the screen, you can get 40% off the same Vantage plan that I personally use. Thank you for supporting the sponsor of this video, Ground News. It helps me to continue to bring you daily news videos that you can trust. So consequence number 1 is this: the contingency plan, guidance for continuation of operations in the absence of available appropriations. Put succinctly, military works without pay. But don't worry, the politicians still get their paychecks. They're not affected. You can sleep at night. All military bases in the U.S. and abroad are open for full duty for active duty service members. The Pentagon has said that duties such as unit training and support for operational missions will be unaffected. However, troops should expect some disruption in jobs and tasks that are impacted by missing civilian personnel. It's just so twisted when you think about what this means, that troops are essentially not going to receive their next paycheck, but the politicians playing all these stupid games are going to receive their next paycheck. This is why they're able to do these things, because they are unaffected by all of these consequences. Not a single thing I'm going to show you in this video affects the politicians. That's what's so twisted about it. In fact, they get paid for doing less right now. That's how twisted it really is. Even though Congress failed to fund the government, the Defense Department will continue to carry out military operations and certain other missions funded by any money that is still available until the money runs out. Good thing we're not in any debt or anything. Kristi Noem said our DHS government law enforcement officers will continue to work throughout the Democrat shutdown to make sure our homeland is safe and secure. More than 200,000 of these patriots will go without pay. The Democrats will be forcing over 150,000 officers and nearly 50,000 members of the military, our front line of defense, to continue protecting our nation without pay. Which leads to the second biggest consequence, is that law enforcement are now forced to put their lives on the line without any pay. Imagine that. So look at this. Look at this guy. This is the epitome of what the left looks like. Show me one villain ever that didn't look exactly like this. So this means that police officers will work without pay and prisons must stay open as well. The National Association of Police Organizations, which represents like 250,000 law enforcement agents, said that federal grants, resources, and supports for state and local law enforcement will stop, leaving vital public safety initiatives in the lurch. So that's another thing to keep in mind here, is that the Council of Local Prisons argued that a government shutdown would not only threaten the livelihoods of men and women who serve in the Federal Bureau of Prisons, it would also directly jeopardize the institutional security and public safety nationwide. The individuals who work in the BOP perform incredibly difficult, dangerous, and essential work in government service. Imagine working at a prison and doing so without pay. Correctional facilities must remain fully operational around the clock. The Council of Local Prisons explained. Inmates must be housed, fed, transported, and supervised regardless of political gridlock. The mission of the BOP is continuous. It can't end. Do you guys realize that? Like, just because the government shuts down and just because they're not getting paid, you can't just say, oh, well, prisons aren't working right now. Try again later. Also, the third consequence is that veterans aren't going to get certain services. And so, so there's a lot of things that are going to be affected for veterans. So impacted programs for veterans will be that the VA will cease providing transition program assistance and career counseling. Call centers will be completely closed. VA benefits regional offices will be closed. Public affairs and outreach to veterans will cease, including all social media, vet resource emails, and responses to press inquiries. No grounds maintenance or placement of permanent headstones at VA cemeteries. Applications for pre-need burial in VA cemeteries will not be processed. No printing of new presidential memorial certificates, and no outreach to state, county, tribal, municipal, faith-based, and community-based partners by the VA Central Office. But remember, even though veterans are getting less care now, the politicians are still getting their paycheck. That is the one thing we must hold on to, is the hope that politicians are still getting paid, okay? Fourth major consequence is that the FAA plans to furlough 11,000 employees in U.S. government shutdown. I mean, I don't want to see people just be out of work and their lives be hurt by it. But again, the government's bloated. However, imagine what this is going to do for traveling. It's going to be a nightmare, as if it isn't already a nightmare in a lot of instances to travel. Now, go to an airport where there's a government shutdown and you have people that hate you. Now, imagine those same people that hate you for existing, but not getting paid to hate you. They just have to hate you for free. About 50,000 TSA employees who staff airport security checkpoints will be required to keep working. But in 2019, during a 35-day shutdown, the number of absences by controllers and TSA officers rose when workers missed paychecks, extending checkpoint wait times. And the fifth consequence, and there's more than just these, but popular health programs will expire if Senate Dems force government shutdown, which means that 1,200 Medicare patients per month currently benefit from this program called the Acute Hospital Care at Home Initiative, which enables hospitals to obtain approval to treat medical patients with conditions such as respiratory disease or bacterial infections at home. This program, which was rolled out during CoFraud, is set to expire September 30th. So now that's no longer happening. Fantastic. I'm sure everybody that was in that loves that. But they can, again, have hope in knowing that politicians are still getting their paychecks through all of this. So please stop complaining about your respiratory disease and bacterial infection. As of Friday, almost 49,000 patients have benefited from the program, and 419 hospitals across 39 states have approved participation in the program, according to the Office of Management and Budget. Commonly treated conditions under the program include heart failure, blood poisoning, respiratory disease, pneumonia, bacterial infection, urinary tract infection, and chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. You know, even through uncertain times, we don't have to worry. God is sovereign and in control. In fact, Jesus tells us in Matthew chapter 11, verse 28 through 30, look at this. He says, "Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." But hey, let me know your thoughts about all this in the comment section. I would love to hear from you. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that subscribe button, join this community. I would love to hear from you on a regular basis. And please hit that thumbs up button. You know, when you like this video, to get pushed out to more people, and it would really help spread the truth. All right, I'll see you in the next video.